A pastor's been suspended for handing out stickers that say, "I heart hot youth pastors." Hi, I'm Scott.
Hi, I'm Mark, and very afraid.
Oh my gosh. Unbelievable. The like, I swear to God, we're going to write a book someday called The Stupid Things That Stupid People Do That Lead to Stupid Outcomes.
Isn't that like the entirety of the self-help section at, well, I was going to say Borders, but I guess there's no
Oh
Borders
my God.
anymore.
There are well-meaning but dumb things churches do, and then there's this.
I'm not even sure what this is. Like, I don't have vocabulary for this.
Yeah, Fairview Baptist Church youth pastor Cory Wall. All being a youth pastor is a tough business. Trying to keep young people interested in something as seemingly boring as their mom and dad's faith, right? And so you do whatever you can to make it interesting. You have cool music. You show good movies. You have what do they call that thing like that where you go from house to house and doing a dinner thing?
Like progressive dinner?
Progressive dinners. Yeah. You do all sorts of, you do anything you can to keep these young people on the boat, right? And so Pastor Cory Wall here has a brainstorm of a genius idea here.
And I feel like genius is in huge quotes.
Yes. And he makes these stickers that I heart hot youth pastors. And in a bold move that surprises absolutely nobody, gets incredible blowback from it, and it's caused his suspension from the church. Oh my gosh. Do we want to count the many, many ways this is just bad? I don't, you know.
So like our question, like our default question is like, how does this break the church? It's like,
oh my gosh.
As somebody, who once witnessed events that at the time I didn't realize it, but afterward realized what I saw was a very inappropriate relationship between a youth pastor and one of the students. Or else, why were they sitting in the dark in the basement of the church? I don't know. It's like, this is especially troubling to me.
Yeah. So, part of me I feel gross just thinking about it, but we have to say these things.
Yeah.
Pastor as sex symbol. Ew.
Yeah, like, there's just so much, like, there's so many failures of thinking going on here. And I mean, it's a youth pastor, right?
Yeah.
So like a pastor. So like, like if you try to like pass off, I don't know, Joel Osteen as like a sex symbol, I would have I know.
That ginormous forehead. Okay.
Yeah. And that smile that just says, yes, I like to eat bowls of poop, and
okay.
We're going.
Wow. Yeah. No, but like I want to have a serious conversation about this.
But I don't want to, because it's gonna really make me mad.
But we literally just had a Hillsong scandal with the guy with the Hillsong Church, New York, who was caught having an adulterous affair, right, and had to step down in shame, even though like it's only been a couple of months and he's ready to get back into it again. But like this should be a well-worn story in the mind of every male pastor. Like, if you are trying to be cute, or you're trying to appeal physically, sexually, stylistically to your female congregation, like, you are so far out of bounds that you need some severe correction. We shouldn't have to talk about this. Like, you are hopefully you are a college graduate. You've been trained in the ways of responsibly shepherding people. You're young, so you're just starting your ministry. But you should know that trying to appeal to the hormones of your kids is probably not the right way to do ministry.
I would like to think he wasn't trying to appeal to their hormones so much as their sense of irony, which I have yet to meet a kid in the youth group who understands irony properly anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, oh my gosh, it's just like with how many churches out there, like, pastors, Christians, whatever, that will like jump on anything that comes close to being sex, like those
Yeah.
people that freak out because, like, I guess Robin, or is it Robin that's gay now? I forget. Like some superhero sidekick is like, oh, well, they're gay. They're like, why do you have to bring sex into our comic books? As if there was no sexual tension between Superman and Lois Lane ever.
Right.
You know, it's like, I feel like that kind of aggro, like, should have told this individual,
Mm-hmm.
who's, you know, gender I don't want to speculate on at the moment because
Yeah.
Cory could go either way. You should have figured out having this kind of thing. I love hot youth pastors is going to piss a lot of people off.
Yeah. Yeah. Like,
And for what?
part of me has to ask the question, what the crap is going on in our seminaries if they are graduating kids, people ready for pastorship who don't understand this? Like maybe you don't need that fourth semester of Old Testament. Maybe instead of taking a semester of that, take a semester of how not to be, creepy sexual molester guy.
Right. I mean, because I've done stuff as a volunteer leader in the youth group, and like the distance we would go to try to, eliminate even the possibility that someone might accidentally think something
Yeah.
was extreme. I mean, it was to the point where, as, like an adult leader, if we saw one of the female students, one of the male students posting something on Facebook that was, let's face it, a bit sticky,
Mhm.
like we'd be like, hey, are you sure this is the kind of thing you want to post up on the internet? You do know how this thing works, right, kid?
Yeah. So you said something earlier that you moved away from really quickly, but I want to go back to it really quick.
Mhm.
Do you think that something like this, obviously somebody thought it was harmless, right? A sticker that
Yeah.
says I heart hot youth pastors. Do you think this is kind of like trying to put a twist, or trying to kind of like put the cool way to refute purity culture is a bumper sticker?
Oh, yeah,
Ministry by bumper sticker. They wouldn't.
I doubt that they had any thoughts of doing anything to affect purity culture here.
Okay.
But I think it's like, yeah, like they're trying to be clever, hip, relevant. Like choose
Yeah.
the word you think fits best here.
Yeah.
I think that's what they were going for. Is they wanted to be like the pastor, like that youth pastor that like, oh well, like your churched kids when they bring their unchurched friends,
Yeah.
it's into the youth group. It's like, oh, look how with it I am. And it's going to come across like, somebody trying to like be cool in front of their children by using slang from the 70s. It's like, it just doesn't land to me. Like I would
Yeah.
be kind of troubled. If I were that age and somebody's like, hey, come to my youth group. And like their youth pastor handed me, I love hot youth pastors, bumper sticker. I'd be like, you're creeping me out. I'm never coming back.
Right. Okay. So I just did something I probably shouldn't have done,
Um,
and
that's a
I
long list of stuff.
yeah. Don't even get me started.
Oh my.
But I actually Googled the name of the pastor, Cory Wall,
Okay.
and I know nothing about nothing, right? But here's what I'm gonna say. I'm pretty sure that Cory probably made these bumper stickers because he probably thinks it's pretty obvious that he is not a hot youth pastor. Judging by the pictures, I think he was kind of, like you said, going for the irony aspect of it, and it just backfired in a magnificent way. So yeah, there is that aspect of it.
I mean,
So
like when a lot of us, I mean, I shouldn't say a lot of us, probably all of us go to a church where we cannot openly talk about healthy human sexuality.
right.
So, I mean, like you should have seen this coming, kid.
Yeah. I mean, in most churches, like, you even broach the subject of any sort of sexuality with kids, and the parents are going to come down hard.
Oh my. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything. Yeah. Like, yeah. Anything at all. Anything other than protect your heart and save your heart for the one. Kind of like, that's like as close to sexuality as you're getting, Okay.
Yeah.
So my next thought, once we get beyond kind of like the obvious silliness of this whole thing,
Mhm.
is I guess what we would call today projection, right? I thought it was like the liberals and the woke ones that are grooming kids, and you know what I mean? Every single time we come up with, like, we go months and months and months talking about how liberals are evil and how they're groomers and how you're gonna have this awful thing and your rights taken away from you. The story always ends up being some conservative Christian that's doing the very thing you hate every single time.
Every time. Yeah.
Yeah. Just drives me nuts. It's like, why does it always have to be the Christian that is the one that is guilty of the things that we call unchristian, you know? Why is it always the white Christian who is like standing near the voting ballot box to try to convince people not to put their absentee voter thing in, you know, not to put it in the voting box, you know? It's always the Christian, the person who thinks they're standing up for Jesus, that is doing the thing that's immoral, illegal, unethical, unspiritual. It's always the Christian.
Yeah.
Drives me nuts.
I know.
You
Just
know?
like, I'm just gonna, just do me a favor. You know, if you like, this is just to all youth pastors out there, that are just like brand new to their job. Use your brain.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
I
like
think that's a good way to put it.
Yeah, let's refer back to the SBC's, you know, like 700-page report on abuses, or was it 700 abuses and a 300-page report? I don't know. Several hundred of anything of concerning sexual abuse or assault or harassment, not cool. Like, the church sucks at this issue.
It's
Be
terrible.
aware.
Yeah, it is like the worst at this issue.
Oh my.
It is the worst. And then finally, just to put the cherry on top of the crap sundae that we've built today.
So chocolatey, lots of nuts.
Oh man! So this story came to me by way of Relevant magazine, and you know that the writers of Relevant hate writing the stories that they're assigned to write because they never put their names on the byline. The stories are always written by Relevant magazine, right? And so somebody was told, like, oh, but you got to make sure that in the story somehow that you make sure and say that this is not reflective of all youth pastors. So here's how the story ends. There's a lot of things going on here. To name a few, a general church culture that often elevates conventionally attractive people, goofy youth group antics in which shock culture and silliness are sometimes seen as substitutes for real spiritual growth, and a Christian culture that has sought to be in charge of American sexuality by failing mind its own guardrails, which doesn't even make sense as the most terrible run-on sentence that I've seen in the longest time.
I know you just copy and pasted that, but like,
it's, oh my gosh.
I don't even understand what that's supposed to be saying.
Right.
Failing failing to mind its, I think there's a missing preposition. Failing to mind its own guardrails.
That's what I'm saying. And then it ends by saying, but the deeper soul searching extends far beyond just one youth pastor or even one church building. Oh, but this is really all of us. This is in all of our hearts. It's not just like one crappy youth pastor that we should have fired immediately. It's all of us. Like, no, this guy did a dumb thing. He lost the trust of kids and parents alike, and you should probably just dismiss him at this point and just give everybody a break, you know?
Yeah, it's like, I shouldn't say don't dismiss him. Give him the opportunity to, you know, resign his position. You know, because this is something like, as a new youth pastor, like, he's going to have to learn from and grow past. And, you know, I'm gonna try to take, like, you know, he meant well kind of, you know, tack on this. Like, you meant well, but you did something terrifically stupid. Like, you lack wisdom for that position because you did this. Yeah. Like, you just take some more time, gain some more wisdom, and then come back to the ministry. That's all. That's as much as I think needs to be done.
I think so. And I think that's a good place to end it.
All right.
You know, absolutely. I dig it. All right. So this is Church is Lame. And if you don't know, I'm going to tell you. What we do here is we try to fix the church by talking about stupid things churches and church leaders do that break the entire body. So if you have something to add to the conversation, if you want to stand up for Cory here and tell me that I'm being too hard, I welcome the feedback. Make your case. I'd love to. So put it down in the comments and let me know if you think if I'm being too hard for wanting crap like this to just stop. You know, hit those like buttons and subscribe and send us an email if you want. churcheslamepodcast@gmail.com.
And instead of saying that's what she said, I'm going to say, may the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious to you. May the Lord lift his countenance upon you and give you peace. Amen.